Right. Hi, everyone. First off, thanks for coming today. It's our first open day since 2019, so it's been a long time, and it's great to see so many of you, come today. And I think you should have a really good day because a lot of work's been put into the open day. I think it's weeks and weeks of planning and a lot of late nights for some of the guys. So no, but thank you a lot for coming today. This presentation is, as it says, social media that works, practical strategies for the sign and graphics industry. So in terms of social media in general, does anyone have any thoughts on social media? Is anyone doing it in their businesses? Any issues you're having or anything like that? What's the challenges? Is there anyone
I
here?
have a LinkedIn account,
Yeah.
which I use. I guess that's social media.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
And I find that quite a useful platform. But if you put a statement out, you sometimes get a bit of backlash. That's the only problem.
Yeah.
But that's debate anyway. So.
Yeah. No, I'll get onto LinkedIn as a bit of a platform. So when we get onto the third bullet point, what platforms you should use. So obviously here at William Smith's, we use a whole host of different platforms. And but we appreciate, we're quite lucky, we've got quite a large marketing team at Smiths. So we've got, I'm a brand manager, and we've got, social media managers, content creators, people who focus on e-news and different things. But I know I appreciate that not all businesses are so lucky. So a lot of the times, I don't know if there's agreement in the room that when you're doing social media for you guys, you might be doing social media, but that's not your only role and responsibility. You've got to be trying to do the projects, pay the invoices, chase clients and everything like that. So I do appreciate that time isn't necessarily of the essence and you don't have a lot of time. So today, I want to kind of strip it back and give you some kind of simplistic tips on what you potentially could be doing on social media. But I do want to make it as two ways possible. So if you've got any questions throughout, please do just shout up and I'm happy to do my best to answer them. But in terms of intro, in terms of me, I'm Jack. I'm the brand manager of the architectural division here at William Smith. I've been here 9 years. I did degrees in marketing, things like that, and came straight into Smith. So I've been here since the inception of the architectural brand with a marketing focus. So I kind of cover all sides of marketing. I'm a bit of a jack of trades, master of none, really. But it's been quite incredible to see how marketing's changed just in them 9 years as well. 9 years ago, social media was, something we did, but it wasn't a big focus. And in fact, we used to take turns and having a go at social media on a weekly basis, where now it's probably one of the key kind of cornerstones of our marketing strategy. Leanne is our social media manager, and that is what she does day in, day out, a focus just on social. It's absolutely massive. So yeah, it has changed hugely, and I'll get onto the next slide of some of the numbers around that. But in terms of the agenda, first bit is why social media matters. I've kind of touched upon that there, and how the landscape shifted to a digital world we kind of live in. Setting the right goals, got a little slide on that. What platforms you should use. Again, we use a lot of social media platforms, but I've focused on a couple that you guys might want to do if you're not doing it already, LinkedIn being one. What content you should be posting as well. So that's quite a broad, bigger topic from the kind of, whether you're doing case studies, testimonials, things like that. Hi, just come on in. It's down. No, that's absolutely fine. Just starting. What kind of content you're posting, that goes from the types in terms of, as I mentioned, case studies, people, what your copy should look like, hashtags, how much you should be posting and things like that. A couple of quick tips and quick wins that you might want to look at to help you deliver social media in an efficient way, and kind of, how to measure success, but also a little bit of some, workflow and follow-up mechanisms you might want to look at, because ultimately you want to deliver on the leads you're generating from social media as well. So why social media matters for you. As I mentioned just before, the landscape has totally changed in the last decade. I mean, when I first started, we focused on, things like PR, which by the way is still a, a credible, source of kind of marketing activity. Direct mails were a big thing we did, and a lot more like kind of old-fashioned marketing. But that is totally flipped in the last 10 years. I would say up to 80% of my marketing budget is kind of focused on digital marketing, not just on social media. Sean's got a really good presentation today on digital marketing, kind of generally having you, Sean, from a wider perspective. Today, for this one, we're going to be focused a little bit more on social media, but digital is huge, in the world we live in general, but that's true in business as well. So, we've got facts like 81% of people research online before you're buying. 54.8 million users are on social media, given the populations, around 70 million. That's where people are going for their kind of information today. I know you'll have customers who repeat buyers, word of mouth, other marketing tactics like adverts and things like that are all, something are still really important, but social media is really important. It's something you need to be doing, because if you're not on social media, it's going to be a bigger challenge potentially to grow your business, at least if you're not on digital, having digital tactics. So, and the good things are it offers a little bit more control. What I like about digital marketing as well, you can kind of see the results of the money you're putting into it or the activity you're doing. The stats and the statistics are there to see, from conversions, impressions, insights and things like that, where with things a little bit more like adverts, it's a little bit more brand awareness and you're not seeing that return on investment as well. So again, as I say, if your business isn't online, is invisible to 2/3 of the planet. Setting goals as well. Setting goals are really important in terms of social media. You don't want to just kind of go away and just start posting willy-nilly, I guess. I think it's important to have business objectives which feed down into social media objectives, which then kind of allows you to focus on what content you're going to create to allow to meet the objectives you have as a business as well. So again, it is great to just get going, but if you can, try and set, objectives. For example, awareness, content around increasing brand awareness, leads, drive real customer inquiries, recruitment from a staffing point of view, from a social presence, what create positive connotations in the minds of potential new employees, and partnerships, connecting with suppliers and collaborating. Your goal shapes your strategy. Awareness needs visuals, leads needs call to actions, and recruitment needs kind of culture stories. So think about that kind of content to create when you're starting to create your content. In terms of what platforms to use, as I mentioned before, we use quite a wide scale in terms of different ones. From the architectural division, we have got Instagram, we use Pinterest on that one, and then from a wider perspective, we use Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn. Missing any, Ryan? YouTube as well. But I appreciate, as I mentioned the first, it's not the easiest thing to try and do all that. Being, if you're a smaller business, you've got so many other things to focus on. So we've kind of selected two for the purpose of this presentation. One, LinkedIn, as you mentioned, that's really good from building kind of a personal brand and building connections that way. Sharing case studies, promoting expertise, and building connections. I think a good tip as well that some customers had good success with in your industry is Sales Navigator. Has anyone used that at all? No. So that's something I would, if you're going to put budget into anything, I don't know what the cost is. It might be a few £100 a year. 70 quid a month, yeah. So from your perspective, if you got Sales Navigator, it allows you to do, I think it's really good from focusing your marketing efforts. So, if you're, for example, you're in the architectural world and you're wrapping exteriors of buildings and you wanted to focus on, you'd heard on the grapevine, I don't know, Honda are kind of refreshing all their exteriors of buildings and you wanted to pitch to them, sell to them. Sales Navigator allows you to do that really well. So you can basically find all the people in the UK who work for Honda. You can break it down by division as well, job titles, so facilities managers per se as well. So, and then you can get all the facilities managers in the UK who work for Honda in a list within 30 seconds. And obviously you can then message them, promoting, what you do as well. So that's one little tip, and that's just one example, but you can do that.
Sorry, was that called Sales Navigator?
Sales Navigator, yeah. So it's available on the LinkedIn platform you have.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, that's a little tip that I found a lot of people in this industry has had a lot of success with. You can do it from location as well if you want to target a surrounding area of your business and things like that as well. Instagram as well. That's probably where we get the most traction from in terms of our social media platforms, carousels, reels, high visual poster showcase, work and engage potential customers. But I think it's important to know as well understand where your customers hang out as well, when you're selecting your social media platforms to use. So, for example, in the architectural world, we target a lot of designers, architects, and people like that. So that's why we've looked at Pinterest, Instagram as focus areas, because we know that's where these guys look for their information online. And yeah, people who make decisions quickly, they value clear, visual, and useful content. So always have that in mind. I'm going to go on a little bit later in times, the next couple of slides on what content potentially you should be doing. Any questions at this stage? No? No?
What, did you say Instagram works for you? As in, is it Instagram because you want to see the visual representation of what you're selling? Is that what you say?
Yeah, so Instagram works really well. We use, like, for reels and things like that, that platform's, built for that kind of content. And we find that, moving animations, gets more impressions and eyes on what we do and helps build the brand of William Smith Architecture, whatever it is, online on them platforms.
You're typing architectural, like I do, and trying to find an architectural wall graphics, whatever. You put that in Google,
Yeah.
you go images, and that's the way I try and find it. I don't go into Instagram. Well, I'm probably an older generation.
Yeah. No, that is.
That's how I search. We've tried to do it on. We do Instagram and all the rest of it. They seem to end up on Google images. You know what I mean? So it's a visual type of thing. So that's what you're using is Instagram.
We use, and Sean will do a bit on digital marketing. We do a lot on digital marketing and social media. So we target a lot on, we do a lot of PPC, pay-per-click, SEO traffic on Google to drive a lot of traffic to our website, and then generate leads that way. Probably a larger budget we do on the social media side. Sean has got a presentation today on that side of things.
You're bigging this up, Jack. I might not even be that good. Yeah. I think one thing to consider with these platforms, so like TikTok, Instagram, anything where it's classed as short form, so like a short form video, imagery, stuff like that. All these AI platforms are starting to pull them through now. So what you're mentioning on Google, where it's pulling the images through, that's happening on things like ChatGPT and Proximity. So the more presence you've got on these things with like short form content, especially with architectural where it's quite visual and you can do like a how-to video and stuff, like I definitely consider that from a content standpoint, because it isn't just a young audience anymore. No. Like as soon as you think TikTok, you think kids dancing, but it's becoming a massive part of the search real estate, and Google's market share is gradually ebbing away because people are starting searches on these platforms.
Instead of Google.
Yeah, like
people are...
pretty much, yeah. Like 10 years ago, you would have started a search. It's no shame, I've done this before. When you buy a car and you don't know how to get the bonnet up, like you'll search, how the hell do you get the bonnet up? Yeah, like people are doing that now on the likes of TikTok and on the likes of ChatGPT. So if you don't have the right content that's optimized well, you're just not going to figure out. So it's more about the other touch points people are having to find your brand, rather than it just being targeting the right person, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. We found, like, you know, so a few years ago, we would just always do, like, static graphics and things like that. And we still do that because, you know, creating this kind of content, you know, reels and videos does take time. And I've got some tips in a few slides' time, you know, tools you can use to create these. Leanne, our social media, she's doing it right now, actually, to create this content. But you can see on the, you know, can you see here, this is like how many people have seen these posts. You know, when you do videos and you get people in, 3.3k people saw that one and 4k people saw that one from an impressions point of view, saw the video, where static graphics and things like that, even today, we find get 120 to 140 views. So you can see by creating content like this, Instagram's a great platform, well, it's a lot of percent more, you get eyes onto your content. So it's changed massively over recent years, and it's just grown and grown, the platforms. That's why it's important to, you know, to get on board and do it and be consistent with it. We've found, you know, we've had great results, particularly in last year. Our social content is really ramped up, concentrate a lot more on video. Ryan, you're doing a lot more video than you ever have. People with visual beings, we want to see things and learn. Type of content as well. There's all sorts of things you can do. Colleague Leanne's come with some tips in regards to this. Case studies and project highlights. So again, you want to prove the validity of your work, don't you, at the end of the day? So case studies are really important to put on your social media. You can sometimes do before and afters as like just static shots rather than videos. And a top tip we always have, it's not on that one, try and get pictures from the same angle and things like that. You know, if you get a high profile project like this, these do work really well. But yeah, show real examples of your work, installations, transformational customer projects. Yeah, so if you can take them on a bit of a journey of the projects, you know, reels do really well of people. Carr Flow Wrap, I don't know if anyone's seen some of his stuff. You know, he takes them through the whole journey of a project. He even does that on longer form content for YouTube, then chops it up, puts it on Instagram Reels. And then don't forget the hook as well of the text. So again, the text, try and get them hooked straight away, so you can see it from plain to premium, see how we transferred blah blah in just 48 hours. So again, you do want to hook them in with the text, because people, you know, if you're not hooked with the first sentence, it becomes noise and people are not going to be hooked in to the given post. So try and keep that in mind as well. I'll go on to hashtags a little bit later on, so that's related to kind of search into, you know, people searching the search bar and coming up. You want to, you know, come up on the feed as well and things like that. And behind the scenes, team stories. So again, Steve, you can see we try and get people and faces. So try, if you've got the confidence within your staff, try and get in front of the camera. Try and get people in front of the camera, because that content seems to do a lot better as well. Ramps up even more when you're videoing, you know, members of your team. Yeah, again, announcements, new product launches, services, or team hires can drive high engagement as well. Yeah, little tip, try and tie posts to solutions and benefits, not just promotion. You don't want to be always selling, because people become a bit sickened off to that kind of content as well. For this kind of content, like announcements, reels, again, are a really good way of kind of announcing a new product, a promo, whatever it is. And we found, so 10 to 30 second clips work best, quick demos, time lapses, or even transformations. Event coverage as well. Videos we found work really well on there. We've even tried to do kind of live content as well. We did a live last week to kind of push a competition we were running as well. So lives are another thing to consider. Obviously, people get notified at the top when, you know, if they're following you, that a live's happening. So, you know, you tend to find some people jump on to that. Yeah, in terms of the copy, I kind of touched upon it before. Some top tips. We've come up with hooks, so using an emoji, curiosity or outcomes. So again, got an example on the right-hand side of kind of what this looks like, but we find kind of, put an emoji, a statement in the first line, it's proven to pull people in a little bit more. You want to be adding value, what happened, a story behind the product, the service, or the project. Visual, technical detail, 1 to 2 short sentences again. So you don't want to be losing people with, like a page full of copy in the same breath either. And call to action, again, this I'll touch upon a little bit later, but again, you don't always need a call to action to your kind of the content you're doing, but ultimately you do want to drive leads. You've probably, if you're going back to the objectives, what are the business objectives, marketing, what social media objectives do you have for that given post? And you want to make sure you've got something to drive the traffic to, whether that's a form, a website page, depending on what kind of content it is. Always try and get in the mind of your customer. What are they searching for? What are they looking for? And that's even true on the digital side of things as well. I found especially on the architectural division, when you're writing content, and think, especially with the hashtags as well, what are your customers searching? They might not be searching 3M Dynoc. They're more likely to be searching architectural wrap, architectural film, and that's the same on the sign and graphics, vehicle wrapping side of things. So be wary of that on the kind of hashtag side of things, even and then if you're going to get involved in digital marketing as well, especially on my side, the architectural division, we stay away kind of from products sometimes in terms of for search, because your customers might not know the product, they want the solution. So again, always have that in mind, I'd say. Yeah, so again, just a few tips for, teams, people with small teams. As I mentioned, not everyone's blessed to have, someone dedicated to social media in their team. So we appreciate that, you don't always have, you can find the time to do these kind of things. But yeah, always include visuals. Again, photos, reels, and carousel posts. We've talked about, from our perspective, reels do a lot better than static posts, but don't be afraid to use static posts if you've got them. Another thing as well, we're here to help you as well. So if you are struggling for social media, if you don't even know where to start from a visual perspective, we've got loads of assets from across our business, particularly on the architectural side, but on the vehicle wrap side as well, stock imagery that you can use for your social platforms. So if you are, wanting to do more social media, don't be scared to kind of shout up and get in touch with us, because ultimately we want you to succeed. If you succeed, we ultimately succeed. So again, we're here to be used in that way as well. Repurposing content as well. Don't be afraid. We do it all the time to reshare content you've already done. Don't think that you've posted once a certain project, you can't do it again. No one's going to remember in a few months' time if you repost that project, and it'll save you time if you've got all the copy kind of there and ready as well. We had an instant last week when I delivered a similar presentation to our A team members in the South, that he said he posted a reel and just added a song because you can select a song when you upload reels, and it was a popular song on TikTok at the time. And his first post got 200 views, and his second one got 1.2 million. So you can, he didn't know why, but that was the difference. That was the difference in the two posts. And by the way, I don't have a magic wand to tell you that every post you're going to do is going to go viral like that. But I just want to hit on the message. Don't be scared to kind of repost things, even add a little twist. If you've got good content there, don't be scared to repost it. Posting consistently as well. I had a funny conversation about, it's at this same seminar I did with a customer, and he said, well, I don't have the time, I don't see the rewards. He focuses a lot more on Google Ads and PPC because you can see the rewards from them things. He says, I don't see the rewards from social media. And he was saying, I don't have the time. But he was saying, and then I referenced Flow Wrap, and he was saying, well, he posts every day, no wonder he does it. And it's like, sometimes you do need to be consistent. So again, you don't need to be posting every day, but try and be consistent with it. And I've got a slide I'll talk about now, is like kind of, planning your week, creating a lot of the content on a Monday and scheduling it throughout the week. There's a lot of platforms out there. Do we use Meta Business? Does Leanne? We use HubSpot, don't we? We've got HubSpot. It's a bit of a big CRM system, very expensive, where we schedule our platforms out throughout the week or the month. But there is cheaper ones. So I've used one in the past called Buffer. It's a fine platform. It's only about £10 a month, but it allows you to schedule your social content for the week and month if you want. So again, it's a little tip that to use scheduling platforms like that, because I appreciate sometimes you might go to jobs, do work, forget to take pictures, or you take pictures, next thing you know, you're back home, it's 11 p.m. at night and you're too knackered and you haven't done any posting. So again, trying to be consistent, but planning might help with that. Engage with comments as well. Quick reply, increase visibility and trust. So yeah, it's almost building a community with your, the network and, the eyes on your social media content. We've come up with some just quick kind of examples of what type of content you might want to be doing and kind of in what format, given some of the different kind of topics I talked about before. So a project story, you might want to, for example, a wall graphics installation, you might want to do a carousel images, so just got static images, but, more than one where people can swipe through. Team spotlight, introducing a installer, a designer from our perspective, but it might be a new employee of your business. You might want just a photo, getting people in faces works really well with just a caption. Product demo, material comparison, or a new tool you maybe got. You might want to do a reel to show the new product or tool, on the architecture site, wrapping it round, corners. People like to see things being stretched and, things like that. Event coverage, again, trade shows, we do a lot of then carousel of videos work really well with that. Milestones, customer success or anniversary, of someone in your team being there X amount of years, you might want to do an image and a bit of short copy. So again, it's just mixing up the type of theme of content and the kind of format you're doing. Video is absolutely brilliant, but we appreciate that creating video takes time, and we don't always have loads of time. So don't be scared to use, video imagery either, reuse existing content as well. Yeah, tools to make it easier. Again, this is just another quick tip for smaller teams that. Yes. Yeah, of course you can. Yeah.
It's going down to taking photographs of somebody else. Say you've done a job.
Yes.
We do signs, shop signs. Take a photograph of shop sign. That's nice. I'll put it on social media. Where's the legality about that photograph? You take a photograph of Vandy finish, you throw it on social media, like you talk about all these photographs. Could that customer come back to you and say, you took that back?
Yeah.
Is there a legal thing to you have to get the permission?
That's the customer, I suppose.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
That's all I do.
Yeah.
I never post anything unless they're...
Yeah.
Because it might be they want to reveal their livery at a certain time or whatever, and if you go and pop it out first, they're like...
Yeah, this is
Generally just as simple as that.
We do.
Yeah.
Has anybody been taken to court?
Yeah, we do. It's like a courtesy thing. What was like? Is there any sort of reason why you've got to do it, or just a courteous thing to do?
As far as I understand, it's a courteous thing to do. Sometimes on bigger projects, I don't know if anyone, you sign NDAs and things like that, where again, that might be more of a legal kind of thing. But again, just as you've just said there, just have a conversation with your customer.
Well, if you take a photograph in your workshop of a sign with no branding on it, that's ours, isn't it?
Yeah.
As soon as the branding goes on there or anything, then it becomes theirs.
It's not too dissimilar to what I was saying about, we can help you with social media and send you images and stuff. Yeah. That would all be stock images that our suppliers have supplied us with, or we've created ourselves. Yeah. I'm not going to send you Paul Turner's vehicle wraps for you to put on your social media. And I'm not taking the mick there. I'm just saying, yeah. But it has accidentally, it's been done in the past where people have nicked images from our website, which are customer images, and put it on their platforms to promote what they're doing. And then I've our customers ring me saying, why is this random guy got our lift wraps on, whatever. Yeah. Again, just quick tools in terms of, I mentioned about the scheduling platform, Buffer. So that's, just want to reiterate that one. It's a good one to kind of get your content mapped out over a period of time. Yeah, Leanne uses a few of these as well on a daily basis. Canva or Adobe Express, so they're used to kind of create graphics and things like that for social. So if you're doing static stuff, just design it a little bit on Canva can make it a little bit more visually impacting and do, ultimately gets...
Good when your customer designs a logo on Canva and goes, can you put that inside my van?
Yeah.
And it's this big and you go, no I can't. Can you send me the PDF? Comes through as a PDF, the same image, this big.
Yeah.
It's the worst. I'm like, please stop doing that. Come and see me, I'll give you all the files, you can put it wherever you want.
Yeah, obviously. CapCut, again, I've never used CapCut, but Leanne uses it daily. Now we're doing loads of more reels. It's really easy way to piece content together from a video perspective into a reel and things like that. Has anyone used it? Yeah, is it good? Yeah, yeah. So again, that's a little tip I want me to mention. Yeah, Meta Business Suites. I've mentioned we use HubSpot as a CRM platform to post our social, but you can do the Meta Business Suite for Facebook and Instagram. Buffer, again, as I say, allows you to do it on a multitude of platforms, I believe. And ChatGPTs, again, we're using it a lot more in our business and kind of all aspects of it, from IT to content creation, ideas generation, mapping out strategic kind of goals. But again, it can be good from, an ideas generation. Again, you want to be careful in terms of the authenticity, but I guess ChatGPT is getting, better as it goes on, so it can learn tone of voice and things like that. So again, that's a really good tool. Maybe if you're struggling for time and you want to, get loads of content ideas and even copy for posts, it is really intuitive. So you might want to just, use that as much as you can. Yeah. Do you have any other opinions on ChatGPT, generally speaking, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, I think if a little hack would be to get Grammarly. If you're using ChatGPT, copy whatever you've got in ChatGPT, drop it into Grammarly and tell it to humanize it, and it helps. I think one other massive tool you can use if you're using Meta is there's a free tool called Ad Library, Facebook Ad Library. So it lets you see all your ads that your competitors are running, and you can basically review what they're doing and improve on it. You can actually see in some cases what they're using for like lead magnets and stuff. And like I have an agency and we use it for our clients, and it's arguably the best free tool you can use if you're trying to get one up on your competition, which pretty much everyone is.
What's that called?
Ad Library, Facebook Ad Library. You can
Part of the suite.
it's part of the suite where you can, if you Google Facebook Ad Library, all you do is just put in to the URL like the company name that you want to look at, and it'll bring up a list of all the, I think it's from the last 90 days, it'll bring up all their ads and stuff.
It's free then, it's free. Isn't it?
Yeah, free. Yeah. Well, my advice isn't free, but that's free.
Yeah, I just skipped past the slide. It was more about scheduling as well, having a plan, and posting weekly with a plan is better than posting daily without a plan and posting badly as well. So again, that's good. Sure. How to measure what's working and follow up. Again, on a digital side, I kind of prefer the kind of, I guess, digital speaking, Google Analytics, Google Ads and all stuff. It's really good from analysing what's working. But in terms of social media, some things to look at in the insights of the different platforms is kind of the reach. Are more people seeing your posts? That's all, you want more eyes on what you're doing. Engagement, are they liking, commenting, messaging? And then ultimately leads, I guess that's a lot of the comeback I tend to get on social media. We're not getting leads through. And I guess a lot of social media, you've kind of got to just understand that some of it is brand awareness, and brand awareness of your brand and what you do. You've got to accept a little bit of that, but you do want inquiries ultimately. and how, you know, how many of you actually, you know, how many of you do check your insights? I guess, and you want to have, for not every post you do, you don't always want a call to action, but it's important, again, going back to the planning objectives, what do you actually want from it? And then sending them to different places on your post to call to action. Do you want them to go to visit your website? Do you want them to fill in an inquiry form? That is really important in terms of the CTAs of all your posts as well, or some of the posts is important. Follow up, again, we use HubSpot as well as a bit of a CRM system. So we do a lot of forms. They fill in forms. They come in our mechanisms which trigger.
What's CRM?
Oh my, customer relationship management? No? Yeah.
Okay,
God.
sorry about that.
It was like the back of my brain got that one there because the front of my brain didn't have it. Yeah, so we use CRM system for email marketing, social media, landing pages, forms and things like that. But I appreciate not everyone will have them kind of mechanisms. So, you know, a lot of our social media posts have a form to, you know, request a free interior design box, and, you know, they get the box, but that they then, once they're filled in the form, they get added to a persona workflow. They get e-newsers from us on a monthly basis, goes into the sales kind of pipeline. Our sales team will follow that up. You know, did you get your box, things like that. So if you can put them mechanisms in place as well, that can really transform your business. And I've seen a lot of success doing that. You know, a lot of the social digital work we do, I've set up a lot of workflows then. So when when people go for our website and get a web sample and they're an end user, they trigger into a persona workflow for end users. They get, you know, monthly e-news about what we do. They go into another workflow about, did you enjoy your samples? Do you need an installer? Things like that. Again, I don't want to go too deep into all that stuff because it's quite a bit of a beast, but having workflow mechanisms in place is really important, I'd say. Right, I'm running out of time. Quick wins. Update profile bios and links to website. We use that a lot in our social media posts. Link is in the bio. We usually have our link tree in there, which again, when you click on that, have a link tree, it has, does everyone know what link tree is? Yeah. It's like, and then you'll have your websites, other social media platforms, and any other links you want to put in there, what might be kind of themely, I guess. Yeah, hashtags as well. Try and have at least 3 to 5. Always thinking about what your customer's searching when you think about hashtags. So don't be too, just be clever. Try and be clever with that. Think about what your customer's searching, not what you want to put in there.
On the hashtags.
Yeah.
Because I don't know quite much about that.
Yeah.
Is that just if you put the hashtag in front of it, it's just that word that gets linked, that gets searched, or does someone actually have to search hashtag blah blah blah?
They've got to search it in the top bar, and that.
Do they have to actually
No, not necessarily. No.
Because I've never ever thought, oh, I'll search for that.
No.
Hashtag something in. So
Yeah.
does the hashtag just make
Yeah,
it really work?
yeah. And then obviously, then a little bit of a thing with that. You want to have hashtags that. Again, we used to focus a little bit more a few years ago. It's changed social media a lot, but you want to have some hashtags what are commonly used, so you're more chance of coming up on the feed. But it's a lot more competitive, but a lot more people are searching for it. And then you want to almost build brand-specific hashtags, so you're not competing with as many people either as well. Yeah.
Something in it, it'll say like 6.1 million.
Yeah.
Hashtag, well,
Yeah.
whatever, and then,
So it's more people searching that, but there's less chance you're being found, I guess.
Yeah.
But people are searching for that one rather than more unique ones. But if you can build unique ones, then you're more chance of people go on your content. If that makes sense. Yeah, probably it's probably the one thing is keep showing up. Just keep being consistent with your postings. Probably the main thing I take from that.
Is there a specific time? Because I know they used to reckon that there were certain times, but then that doesn't really work, does it?
We post a lot of. We had this conversation last week and delivered this. A lot of our customers, someone like you, was saying about posting after 5. We found different results. It
doesn't always work though, does it?
No, in answer, no, we don't find there's any specific time. But obviously, don't be ridiculous. And the early hours of the morning when people are not on the phone in the UK. But no, we don't. We post throughout the day.
Interactions is very important as well, though, isn't it?
Well, it's algorithm based, so
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the time of day you post doesn't really matter as
It's just getting
Yeah.
people to start like and share and
yeah. Like
the
if you're
algorithms and stuff
if
like that.
you're putting the right content out there, you've got the right hashtags. I could pick up your content a day later than you've posted it because my algorithms picked it up as
Yes.
something to present to me. It's more the reels that are a bit more time precious because obviously the earlier you get them up, the quicker it gets in front of people. But then again, it's algorithm based as well. So
difficult, isn't
How
it?
do you manipulate the algorithm then?
You don't.
well,
You can.
I mean, you can if you've done your due diligence on the audience and what they're searching for and what your competitors are doing, you can adhere to the algorithm just like you can with Google. They operate in a similar fashion, really. But I've got some bits in mind about like myth dispelling, so I'll talk about algorithm. It's a word that gets chucked around when people are trying to baffle you as well, which I'm trying to do now, to be honest.
So what do you think about boosting? What do you think about boosting posts as well? Because I did a course a year back, and they say the way it works is you boost a post, all hunky dory, but then when you come back, for example, Facebook goes, here he is, he's going to boost his post again. Then when you don't, Facebook automatically goes, nah, and then puts it to the bottom of the list. So you actually get less than you would have on a normal one.
Yeah, Leanne, we do it probably monthly with a few posts. Leanne always, obviously the numbers always look a lot better in terms of the impressions and things like that. I'd be tactful on which ones you do. Leanne's very complimentary about doing that. She sees a positive, it's an incredible amount more impressions and eyes you get onto it. I guess, yeah, I'm a bit torn about it, to be honest, because sometimes, where digital sides, Google Ads, PPC, I see a little bit more return on investment. Do you see that a little bit or not in terms of boosting?
Yeah, I mean, it's like the iOS 14 update came out a couple of years ago and it hammered loads of stuff like that because the tracking all changed on Facebook and Instagram. So the numbers we've got to play with at the minute are quite skewed. I think rather than boosting, I'd be more tempted to put my money into the actual ads on Facebook instead because you can be more targeted and you have a bit more data to play with and you can be a bit more sure that that's going to perform. I think where a boost is concerned, it's more, it gives you like a spike and then it's hard to say what happens after that.
Yeah.
So
Nothing really. I did one not long ago and I got something like 25,000 views, couple hundred likes, few daft comments, nothing, no word, no out.
Yeah.
I think it's your call to action that matters. Like if you boost, so there's a funnel on, there's like a kind of metaphorical funnel, I suppose, on Meta especially, where you've got your more brand awareness, kind of motive development type of ads, type of boosts, and then goes down to consideration and then sort of buy-in where you're pushing it. So depending on what your call to action is will dictate what type of engagement you get. So if you're boosting a post that's very much like a salesy post, you're better off doing that in an ad where people already knows who you are and you've kind of warmed up that audience, so to speak. Whereas if you're doing a more brand awareness piece, that might be where, in the William Smith case, they might give a sample away or they might be giving something free like a workshop or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think I'd always favour ads over boosting because it's just a better way to spend your money, I think.
We do a lot more. So we've been doing Google Ads for a few years now, but we've just last year started doing a lot more social advertising now and seeing a lot, what you just said, more results in that side of it than the boosting. But we
If I'm honest, I didn't know they were different. Like when I boosted that post, I on Facebook Marketplace, I'm gonna look at some crap to buy and notice my own ad. But is that a boost post? Because I didn't do it as an ad. But how come it's come up on that?
Yeah, like you'll have fallen within the kind of demographic targeting for that particular ad. Did you do it on a location? On a particular location when you boosted it?
No.
It might have just done it as a default on like a certain radius because it typically does with a boost. Like you've got to dictate how far that reach will go.
Right, okay.
So it might have picked you up because you're there, but the difference between the two is like a boost gives you less functionality, if you like, than an ad. So like you can set the ads up and preempt them and set up like a cadence for them. Whereas a boost, you pick like a particular criteria, then it goes out.
Yeah.
But like you've very little kind of control and of the aftermath of that. Whereas with an ad, you can see an ad library, you can see in your profile and stuff in your account what the performance has been like. So I think that's better. You get more bang for your buck doing it that way, I think. Yeah.
Right, it's 1:45, so I'm going to have to wrap this up. But if you want to ask me any questions after, you're more than welcome to. Yeah.
Are these presentation available in PDF?
Yes, I can get. Yeah, why not? Do you want one?
If I drop you a line.
Yeah, does anyone else? Should? Yeah, I'll sort that. No worries. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Thank you. Cheers. Thank you.